Friends, I welcome you all to our today's session. We are going to discuss some more theories of international trade today. Few theories we have already learned. Few more theories are there in your syllabus we'll be learning. Let me share the screen with you. So you can have a look that factor production theory, product life cycle theory, country similarity theory, global strategic rivalry theory, national competitive advantage theory, new trade theory, and one gravity model we're planning to learn today. Earlier, we have already learned several theories like mercantilism, new mercantilism, absolute cost advantage theory, then relative cost advantage theory, then relative cost advantage theory with money, product life cycle theory. So these are some of the theories you have already learned, is it not? But today, our plan is to learn all these theories briefly. Okay, now, first, this particular theory, as you can see, the name, it is called as the factor proportions theory. It's also referred to as Hoxer-Olin theory. This theory is also referred to as 2 by 2 by 2 model. Okay, or 2 into 2 into 2 model theory. Okay, so this theory states that the country should specialize in production and export of those products that make use of its relatively abundant factor. That means what? That means if there is a factor which is abundantly available in a country should make use of that factor of production. For example, if the country, if in a particular country, abundantly labor is available, the country should focus on production of those goods and services which are labor intensive. So countries should specialize in production of those goods and services and try to export on those products so that the factor which is abundantly available can be used. Okay, so that is what briefly the theory suggests. The country that is relatively labor abundant should specialize in the production of relatively labor intensive goods. Okay, similarly, there might be some goods which are capital intensive. That means if you want to produce those goods and services, you have to invest a lot of capital. And there are countries who are capital rich countries. So those countries should focus on production of those goods and services which are capital intensive. Okay, so in fact, what the theory is saying that the product can be of, or we can divide the production facilities, production of goods and services into two categories. One is labor intensive products and capital intensive products. Okay, assuming that there are two countries who are operating at the same level of efficiency, they can benefit with international, they can get benefit from the international trade if they trade with each other. But how they will be trading? The labor-rich countries should produce labor-intensive goods, and capital-rich countries should produce capital-intensive goods. Okay, there are some production where a lot of labor is required. For example, you are planning to produce tea. Tea cultivation involves a lot of labor. So, since that is a labor-intensive goods, what will happen? The country where labor is abundantly available should be engaged in production of that product. Okay, but there are some other industries, there are some other goods and services which are capital intensive. For example, let us say you want to have a fully automated steel plant. You need a lot of money to have that kind of product. So a capital rich country should be engaged in production of those goods. Okay, this is what the theory suggests. But this theory has some assumptions. First of all, it says that the labor and capital, we are saying it's abundantly available. But it should be abundantly available, but also it should flow freely between sectors. Suppose there is a particular labor who can be employed only in tea production. That cannot be transferred. Those labor force cannot be transferred to some other sector, let's say cotton production. Then this theory may not work. Then even if labor is abundantly available, so you cannot use it in different sectors. So you have to produce different goods and services. Different goods you have to produce. Okay, so if we assume that labor and capital can move freely between different sectors, then we can say, okay, the country will produce that goods which can use the factor which is abundantly available in the country. Are you getting me? Now, the second assumption is that the labor and capital in two countries, the amount of labor and capital between two countries differ. Then only you can draw a conclusion that what is abundantly available in which country. Okay, assuming that that different, then we can draw a conclusion that this particular thing, that labor is available abundantly in this country and capital is abundantly available in some other country. So the availability amount should be different. Third assumption is that technology is same among the countries. Okay, so in long term, there should not be substantial changes between the technologies that are used in different countries. Okay, so you can say, okay, let us say we are producing tea in a particular manner. So in long run, the same technology should be used every time. Then only you can draw a conclusion that this particular factor which is available, which is abundantly available, that can be used for a production of something by applying a particular technology. Also, assumption is that tastes are same. People around the world, they have similar kind of tastes. So that a thing which is produced in a different country can be consumed by some other country. The production output must have constant return to scale. That is, productions are double if the capital and labor inputs are double. So if you scale up that production facility, then it should consistently go up. Okay, if I'm putting more labor, produce should be more. We should be able to produce more, and there should be direct. That means that production volume should increase proportionate, direct proportion. And also one more assumption: commodities have same price everywhere. Price of goods are same everywhere, so it can be produced in different countries with same technology and with same price, and people taste that same. If these assumptions are valid, then you can say country who are labor intensive should produce labor intensive goods, and country where capital is abundantly available, they should produce capital abundant goods or capital intensive goods. Okay, so this is the theory which is referred to as factor proportions theory or Hochschild-Wolin theory or 2 by 2 by 2 model. This is also referred to as a relative factor endowment theory. Hope we have understood this. The next theory is country similarity theory, developed by Linder. So Linder's country similarity theory suggests that most trade in manufactured goods should be between the countries with similar per capita income, and that intra-industry trade in manufactured goods should be common. That means if the countries are more or less similar, trade may happen between these two countries. Almost similar type of country A and country B, their per capita income is same, and let us say similar kind of activities they are doing, economic condition is same. Even if everything is same, or in case everything is same, between them there will be international trade and commerce. Why it will so? People would like to buy some foreign product from a similar country just to satisfy their sense of vanity, or just like they feel it is more prestigious to consume a foreign product. So that may be the reason. Even if the foreign country is also similar, but still instead of buying a local product, they may prefer to buy a foreign product. That is what this theory suggests. Theory is country similarity theory. So countries are same, but this international trade may take place due to priority of foreign products or due to involvement of some prestige element. People may feel it is more prestigious to have a foreign product, even if foreign product is coming from a almost a similar country. Okay, understood this theory? Country similarity theory. The next theory is about global strategic rivalry theory. Okay, according to this theory, the firm should do international business as a strategic decision. Because as a strategy, they are participating in international trade. Why? In order to acquire and develop competitive advantages so that they can compete internationally. So it's a strategic decision to participate in international trade and commerce so that they can compete internationally. Okay, how they can have competitive advantage? So if someone is participating in international trade, competitive advantages can be acquired through various ways. Number one may acquire an international property right. That right can be used in doing business. Okay, a firm or a company may own an international property right that might be useful. So as a strategy to acquire this international property right, one may do some international business. Or maybe one company or firm might be investing in research and development. To do that research and development, one might have to participate in international trade. Or one more competitive advantage can be achieving large-scale economies in order to enhance the volume of production. One may participate in international trade. Or simply exploring experience curve. They want to gain out of their experience. So as you know, when a person or a particular sector or particular company or firm produces something, it gains experience. And over a period, it becomes more efficient production of that goods and services. Just to experience that, one may participate in international trade and commerce. So these are competitive advantages which can be acquired through or indirectly in the process of global strategic rivalry theory. So this is what the theory suggests, that as strategic decision, one may participate in international trade and commerce. Then the next theory is that national competitive advantages theory. Okay, this theory suggests that international business happens due to some competitive advantages. One country might be having various competitive advantages. These competitive advantages may come from various factors. Okay, like this factor condition. One country might have competitive advantages as regards to land, labor, capital, organization. The factor condition of factor productions might be abundantly available in some country. That becomes a competitive advantage for a country. Okay, and competitive advantage may also come from demand condition. Let's say demand of a particular product is more, or there is related industry or supporting industry which will support the production process. That's a competitive advantage. Because of that thing, one country can be in a more competitive position. Competitive advantages can also come from farm strategy, structure, and rivalry. Okay, farm strategic decision, or let us say farm organization structure, or the rivalry situation or competitive situation is such that it is advantageous for a particular company. Right. So this is referred to as national competitive advantage. So one country might be enjoying this competitive advantage so that that country may produce goods and may export to other countries. So that will contribute in the growth of international trade. Hope you have understood this theory. Now, one more theory, which is referred to as new trade theory. Okay, new trade theory, what it suggests, that trade between different countries may happen maybe to minimize transportation cost if the farm wants to locate new customers. So now you imagine sometimes what happened. Suppose imagine in our country, in India, there is a particular industry which is located near Bangladesh border. It is located in India. It may prefer to import something from the Bangladesh rather than using a local product. Look at the local product is available at Chennai. Okay, but product can be imported from Bangladesh. Bangladesh is nearer. So to minimum transportation cost will be low. So to minimize transportation cost, farms may want to locate new consumers. That is the thing. If an industry tends to cluster in one location because of returns to scale, and if that industry faces higher transportation costs, the industry will be located in a country with most of its demand in order to minimize cost. Okay, the explanation of this thing is that suppose in India you want to take an example, something like this. Let us say you are having a business which is located somewhere in international border. Let us say your business is in China. No, sorry, in a China border. You are located in India or in China. And you have to purchase some. Let us say you want to purchase some electronic items. And you know in India, those electronic items, you feel that it is produced in a particular cluster. Let us say it is produced only at Pune. So you have two options. Either you will take a local product from Pune or get it imported from China. So since China is nearer to you, you may feel to import that. Okay, so that is the theory. That means to minimize transportation cost. So you are locating or you are involved in a international trade. That is what this new trade theory suggests. Hope you understood this thing. Okay. Now, lastly, one more theory we'll be learning, that is gravity model. Okay. So, according to this theory, that trade happens or trade can be predicted, internet trade can be predicted on the basis of the distance between two countries and interaction of countries' economic size. Okay. If the distance is close, there is possibility that there will be more trade between these two countries. And it also depends countries' economic size, what is the consumer size in both the countries, so that freely there can be trade between these two countries. Since this theory is focusing, or theory is concerned about these two factors, the distance and also the size, and under Newton's law, again, these things are considered, that the theory of gravity is also based on the physical size and the distance. So this theory is also called the gravity model. Okay, so these are various theories which are popular in the area of international trade and commerce. Okay, so let us have a quick look about what are the theories that we have learned. Friends, we started with first of all mercantilism theory of mercantilism. You know, this theory suggests that countries should export more and keep the surpluses in gold form. Then we learned this neo-mercantilism theory, which suggests that it is not gold which shows the country's wealth. It is rather the availability of the goods and services which defines the wealth of the country. So a country should produce more goods and services. Then theory of absolute cost advantages was suggested by Adam Smith. He suggests that find out what are the goods for which are production of which is absolutely cost advantages. So one country should focus on those production of those goods and import other goods. That is what the theory of absolute cost advantage suggests. But this theory has got some criticism, and these criticisms are addressed by comparative cost advantage theory. Here the suggestion is that even if there is no absolute cost advantage with respect to any product, then you evaluate comparatively You find out if there is any comparative advantages in production of various goods and services. And accordingly, you focus on producing those goods and services which are comparatively cost advantages to you. That is the comparative cost advantage theory. But in that theory, only one factor of production was taken, that was labor. What will be the exact cost? That means this labor factor was not translated into money. So the next theory, which is developed by F.W. Tussey, he suggested a theory that is referred to as comparative cost advantage theory with money. Here, what he has done, he converted the labor into money, okay, and keeping in mind the exchange rates between two countries, he tried to compute that which product is cheaper to produce and which product is cheaper to import. So accordingly, countries should decide what are the things they should produce and what are the things they should import. That is the theory, okay, that is called as comparative cost advantage theory with money. Next, we have seen the product life cycle theory, and we have seen, depending upon the different stages of production, international trade may be affected. Okay, at the, let's say, introduction stage, goods may be produced only in the domestic country. Then after growth stage and maturity stage, gradually export and import happens. And finally, in declining stage also, even the original country may become importer. This is how the product life cycle also affects international trade and commerce. Okay, the next theory that we have learned is about, today we learned this thing, factor proportion theory. Here, this theory suggests that countries can be classified as labor-intensive countries and labor-rich countries and capital-rich countries. And goods and also can be classified as labor-intensive and capital-intensive. So as such, the labor-rich country should produce labor-intensive goods, and capital-rich country should produce capital-intensive goods. Okay. Then country similarity theory, the trade may happen between similar countries, just because the customer might having a priority to have a foreign product, or because of involvement of a prestige element. Then eighth theory, that global strategic rivalry theory, suggests that international trade may happen because of a strategic decision to acquire some or to develop some competitive advantages. Okay, so a firm may, as a strategy, decide to participate in international trade. The national competitive advantage suggested that international trade may happen due to some competitive advantages. Okay, and since some countries might be having competitive advantages over other countries, they may produce and export some goods and services. The new trade policy, this policy suggests that maybe to minimize the transportation cost, countries participate in international trade. And lastly, the gravity model suggests that international trade, or the volume of international trade, depends upon the distance between the countries, and also it depends upon the economic sizes of this country. Okay, friends. So this is how we have completed all the theories, or all the important theories of international trade. Is it clear to you? Any doubt we have? Hope there is no doubt. Thanks a lot.